So, because it's the Stanley Cup final and the Habs are playing against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which, look, this is not the first time. We've seen quite a few Lightning Canadian playoff series in the past, I would say half decade, 2014, 2015 as well. And of course, in 2004, way back, there was also. So look, it's pretty familiar, but not in the Stanley Cup final, man. So I thought we would go over one of the biggest trades that these two made with each other. Is it the biggest Lightning Habs trade with each other that we've seen? Let me know in the comments down below if there's a bigger one, but I think this might be it. Reviewing the Jonathan Drouin, Mikhail Sergachev trade 4 years later. Now, the exact 4-year date was June 15th. We just passed it. But, dude, for the Cup final, come on. You know we had to talk about this. It's a series here. We do this with a bunch of other trades. We've done Suzuki Pacioretty. We've done Weber Subban 5 years later. We've done also Anderson Domi. So, this is naturally the one we got to go into here. Let's get into it. So after being traded by the Montreal Canadiens in his first full season as a rookie with Tampa, Mikhail Sergachev honestly had a pretty stellar rookie season for a defenseman here. He was playing alongside Anton Stralman on a pretty solid Tampa Bay team there. And in 79 games, he had 9 goals, 31 assists for 40 points. That's pretty damn stellar for a rookie there as a defenseman. And he followed that up with an equally decent season in 2018-19. In 75 games, 6 goals, 26 assists, 32 points. So he's consistent, hovering around the 30 to 40 point mark, which for a defenseman, especially a really young one, is solid. And you also have to keep in mind that the Lightning were grooming him at this point to become one of the top defensemen on the team, but then they went out and acquired Ryan McDonagh. So that kind of changed everything for Sergachev. All of a sudden, he wasn't a lock for the top 4. He could be playing on that bottom pair and still giving very solid minutes to the Lightning, but that kind of changed everything around because now there was another guy in McDonagh who had to be in the top 4 pretty much, and Sergachev was kind of scratching his way there, but was comfortable in that bottom pair spot. Despite that, though, the kid still put up a great season in year 3. 70 games, 34 points. So again, between 30 and 40 points for a D-man is great. And let's not forget, in the bubble, in 25 games played, 10 points there to get that Stanley Cup. Dude, he had a really solid outing, and the Lightning fans could really see this guy starting to blossom, but he maybe wasn't 100% of the potential that he was maybe seen as when he was drafted 9th overall in 2016. So, solid defenseman, but not a top 2 guy. I should say yet anyways, though, because the kid's still only 23 here. And after this most recent season, 56 games, played a full 56, 30 points again. Solid season. He's going to keep getting better here. In the playoffs, in 18 games, he's only got 2 assists here, but he's still a solid guy. So again, he's still got a lot of more time to develop, so we'll see what he turns into. But as of right now, the projections for him is that he's a solid D-man, could be a number 3 or number 4, but not a top 2 guy. Alright, now moving on to the more interesting part. And first thing I want to say before we get into this part is that I wish Jonathan Drouin all the best in his recovery and getting through whatever he needs to get through. It's been very private. We know next to nothing about what's been going on with Jonathan Drouin since he took a leave of absence from the team. And I just feel bad for him, man, because he went through all the ups and the downs in the regular season with the Habs here. Because, look, it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows for the Montreal Canadiens. There were some pretty significant losing streaks, some periods where they were playing very poorly, and Jake Allen was carrying them on his back. And Drouin, I remember, went through a really long, goalless drought. Like, he hadn't scored a goal. I think it was, what was it? It was like 20-plus games or something like that. So he was under the microscope. He was getting scrutinized like crazy, and I just feel bad that now that they're on the Cinderella, beautiful, everything's awesome part of the run, that he wasn't able to fully experience it as one of the players here. So whatever he's going through, I really hope he's able to get out of it. How awesome would it be if he was able to come back during this Cup final and play with the team and lift the Cup against the team that traded him and drafted him? That would just be the ultimate story for number 92 in the Bleu, Blanc et Rouge. Okay, now back to 2017 when this trade happened. Steve Steve Yzerman was selling high because Drouin had just come off a 53-point, 21-goal season, and then Bergevin acquires him. And look, at this point, Marc Bergevin's thinking, okay, this is a guy who, he's on the up and up, he could be turning into a superstar here, and we got to sign him quick. He might be the face of the franchise for this team. And I know it didn't turn out that way, but on June 15, 2017, Bergevin signed him to a 6-year deal worth $5.5 million per season. So clearly, he was ready to commit to the team, and the team was ready to commit to him, and it seemed like it was going to be a match made in heaven for him to become the next superstar, French-Canadian superstar of the Montreal Canadiens. However, in his first year with the Montreal Canadiens, in 77 games, the Habs missed the playoffs pretty badly, and because of how poorly they finished, they ended up getting the 3rd overall pick, which got them jesperi, kotkaniemi, which tells you how bad of a season that one was. But in 77 games, 13 goals, 33 assists for 46 points for Drouin. So, I mean, let's be real about it. A little bit underwhelming, but he's getting his feet wet. At this point, he's still a young kid getting adjusted to the bright lights and all the scrutiny of Montreal. You got to give him a pass. And then the next year, 2018-19, that's the one where the Habs missed the playoffs by 1 point, and Columbus made it instead of them. In 81 games, he had a really solid season. He had 18 goals, 35 assists, 53 points, the same as he had the year before he was traded with Tampa. So a very solid bounce-back season, some would call it, by Jonathan Drouin. He was looking like, okay, this is the guy that we traded for. He's on the up and up. Here we go here. And in 2019-20, he broke out. Remember, in the first few games there, he was hot coming out for the Habs. He came out on a mission. People are like, yes, this is the Jonathan Drouin that we wanted to get, the 3rd overall pick. This guy's going to turn to a star. And then he has a really, really unfortunate injury that derails a hot start to the season. Who knows what would have happened for him if he would have been healthy. Maybe that would have been his breakout season there, but really, really tough for him. And then he finishes the season in 27 games only, all of last season, 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points. And then in the bubble, in 10 games played, he got 7 points. So solid outing. And again, expectations at this point are raised for Jonathan Drouin once again. People are expecting him to produce and maybe creep into star territory for the Habs here and point producer territory. And this season, look, we know he was battling some personal demons, of course, or there was something going on with him personally, which explains it, but a pretty rough run for him. He struggled at many points this season. In 44 games, 2 goals, 21 assists for 23 points. So clearly there was something going on there, and I'm sure it was most likely affecting his play, but it's just a shame because there's so many points here where you could feel like something was happening for him. He was going to turn the page and really become a star in this league. I equate it to somebody like Sam Bennett for the Calgary Flames, and I know eventually the Flames dumped him to Florida, and he played great there, but you can see the potential in Drouin, and it's just like he needs some consistency, some stability, and he might be able to turn into a really, really good star player here for the Habs. And keep in mind, Drouin is only 26 years old still, and if he can find some line mates who would work really well with him, he can build some solid chemistry with, I think Drouin could be a very good player. He's already gone up to 20 goals. He's hit 50 points before. I think he can get up to 60, 70 points, which would be amazing for Drouin. He's still got a few years left on that deal. It's not time to give up on him. And I know Bergevin, he's a player's GM, right? He will not give up on Drouin here. And I think Drouin is going to have a bounce back, whether it be in the Stanley Cup final, next year, 2 years from now, whenever it may be. I think Drouin is going to bounce back. He's going to show part of his true potential. I really do. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below of this trade, of course, because it's definitely a divisive one. It's an interesting one because you're going to get a whole lot of different opinions on it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Getting ready for the Cup final. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.